Hi, this is Clifford here. I have breaking news. It turns out the FBI and the CIA and the Army knew Nidal Malik Hassan was in direct communication with a radical cleric named Anwar al-Awlaki. Anwar al-Awlaki. This guy was in Virginia recently, where he was the spiritual leader at a mosque in Virginia where Major Hassan worshipped. Anwar al-Awlaki on his website today said, "May Allah bless he said, may Allah bless Nidal Hassan in defense of his Muslim brothers." That's the latest news. The FBI and the Army knew that the psychiatrist who is responsible for the Fort Worth Army base killings, 13 people in all, was on the FBI and the Army's list of people that they wanted to investigate, but they did nothing. They intercepted emails and messages between Hassan and this Yemen cleric. Now remember, Yemen, you know who else is from Yemen? Osama bin Laden. That's where his family originally comes from. Depending on the content of the communications, the disclosure of the government's decision not to take any steps against Major Hassan could provoke criticism of the FBI and Army investigators for missing possible warning signs that might have stopped a mass killing. But federal officials, this is coming from the New York Times, briefed on the case, said they were convinced that their decision to break off the investigation was reasonable based on the information about Major Hassan that was compiled at the time, which they said gave no indication that he was likely to engage in violence. Mr. Al-Awlaki said Monday on his English language website that Mr. Hassan was a hero. The cleric said he is a man of conscience who could not bear living the contradiction of being a Muslim and serving in an army that is fighting against his own people. He added the only way a Muslim could Islamically justify serving as a soldier in the U.S. Army is if his intention is to follow the footsteps of men like Nidal. Uh-oh. Guess what? Anwar al-Awlaki, if you look it up on Google, his website has been taken down. I wonder who took it down. Yeah, the U.S. government. After those words, and hearing that, the FBI must have known that this guy was, at the very minimum, a suspect individual. For the psychiatrist to be talking and emailing him, they should have pulled him and started investigating him right from the jump. I'll be honest. I don't know how many resources and how much of this they have to go through, but or how many people are doing this, but the fact that you're a Muslim cleric, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be investigated if you're going to kill 13 people, or you might have the tendency to kill, or might have the tendency to want 13 people killed. Guy said he's a hero. Now, to my Muslim friends out there, you guys have to make a decision. What side are you on? The U.S. is there's always been a separation of church and state here. That's in the Constitution. So as far as the state, the United States, religion doesn't come into play. It just comes down to 13 people getting killed. As far as Iraq and Afghanistan, if you're a Muslim and you supported the Saddam Hussein regime, I don't know what that was all about. That's not reasonable either. Afghanistan, that's a whole nother story. They have tremendous problems over there. But as far as Iraq, now if you're for pulling out the troops, the U.S. troops, that's one thing. But there's a diplomatic and a reasonable way of voicing your opinion. As far as having 13 people killed in the U.S., that's pretty severe to try to get your message across. But we'll see how this plays out. Obviously, it has international implications which haven't even been recognized yet, and nobody's really come forward and said, hey, I had something to do with it. This is the first little thing come out. Anwar al-Awlaki was in direct talks with him. But a lot of these guys know that if you come out there and put your neck out there and say, hey, you had something to do with it, the U.S. probably is going to come after you. So we may never know what was really who was really behind this. And that's where we're at with this. This is the latest update, and this plays on. I also hear that Dr Hasan, he just came out of his coma or something like that. He was in. He just came out of it. They said he's talking and everything. So we'll see how that plays out. And I'll be sure to keep you updated on this breaking story. But that's the latest. Anwar al-Awlaki, Muslim cleric. He used to be the spiritual leader of the doctor, the psychiatrist Dr Hasan in a mosque in Virginia, had stated on his website that he's a hero, and telling all Muslims in the army that they need to follow his lead. We'll see how this plays out. This is Clifford Bryan with your breaking news. Thank you.